As you guys can see, we are joined by some special guests here in the studio. And actually, we're making history tonight. For the first time ever on Toyota Sports Extra, we are joined by a track team. So, a historical night indeed. And because it's St. Patrick's Day, it only makes sense that our track team, their colors are green as well. So,
did you miss the memo? Like, what happened here?
Yeah, clearly Matt is wearing green as well. I know.
Stickers up.
See that? There we go.
I did not get the memo. I wasn't special. Anyway, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you guys to the Sac State track and field team here. And representing the Hornets, we're going to start off over here. We have junior jumper John Gibbs, and standing right next to him, junior distance runner Danny Gee. And then going on this side right here, the big man, junior jumper Miles Grant, who's about 6 inches taller than his head coach, the one and only
the hair.
Kenny. Yeah, it definitely is the hair. And you know what? This track head coach, he doesn't need hair because he's already shining. The one and only Kenny McDowell is here. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Sunday and on this St. Patty's Day.
Thank you.
Great to have you guys in here. So, first things first, you guys are just coming off hosting the Hornet Invitational over the weekend. It was a successful invitational for you guys, 26 PRs. How exciting is it to host, because you guys are typically traveling, but to be able to host one in your home school, how exciting was that?
Well, I mean, it was very exciting because last season we weren't able to host any home meets. So to be able to be back in home ground, be able to sleep in our own beds the night before was pretty exciting, and it gives you a little bit more something to work towards because you got to kind of defend your home turf now. You can't let other people come in there and disrespect you. So it was fun. It was exciting. You know, it was some things that we didn't expect to happen, and then other things that happened that, you know, it's just time coming, and so it was great, yeah.
The thing that's interesting about track and field is that it's a team sport, but there are a lot of individual events, minus the 4x1 or 4x4, any of the relays. How much of that do you guys put more pressure, I guess, on yourselves because you don't have a teammate to lean on you unless it's a relay?
Honestly, here at Sac State is like, we have such a great culture, and we do such a good job here at supporting the other events. And so it's really it's not just you out there. Like, I mean, I'm a distance runner, so my race is like lots of laps around that track. For the 5K, it's 12 and a half. For the 10K, it's 25 and stuff like that. But our team does such a great job of like lining the track, cheering me on, and cheering on the other distance runners, and for like the jumps and stuff like that, getting the clap going. I know John's really good at that. And I feel like we've done such a great job here at Sac State learning each other's events and learning track and field in general. So that way it turns it from like oh, I'm on my own to more of like oh, we're in this together and we score points for the team. And we have just such a great culture here, and it's such a great team to like be a part of because it's different than other programs and something that makes our program special.
Well, one of the things I believe we incorporate something into our program probably like 2 years ago. It's called shout outs. And we do that because there are things that they know among each other that we as a coaching staff don't know. So at the end of the meeting or end of our track meet, we'll do a shout out. And it might be along the lines of Danny, you know, she had a tough week this week. She was staying up late to study for exam for microbiology. And she went out there and ran a PR, so the whole team will say, you know, they'll clap. So we do that, and I call that peer intervention. Something I incorporated probably a couple of years ago that they can help each other. So I'm always telling recruits that Sac State track and field probably have one of the top coaches in the country because they all get along. And that's one thing I'm proud of my team is that we really do have a good culture. We just don't say it, we really mean that. And we have great support from administration, you know, from President Wood to Mark Orr, and our sports supervisor, Carl Reed. So we have a really good culture. And I probably say that probably 10,000 times a week, but I truly believe that. We do have a good culture, and we incorporate things to do that. And we have, the captains of the team here with Danny and John, and they do stuff too. We empower the athletes to do stuff like roommates on the weekend. They design the uniforms, they design their rings when we win championships. So we do stuff to empower them, and it also helps the culture and just try to get the kids to be on the same team.
Now, Miles, I'm going to start this question with you, but I want to open it up to the two captains over here as well, because I'm fascinated with, you hear the term in sports like being born with God-given talent, right? And we associate that with football or basketball or whatever, but I think it's most true in track and field athletes. Like, you're born just with this unbelievable ability to do what you do, but you got to discover. How did you discover you were a jumper? How did you discover you're a distance runner? Like, where does that come from? Because discovered pretty quickly I can't do any of that stuff just by rolling out of bed. So where did that come from?
Well, I was lucky enough to go to a school in middle school, actually, where our PE program exposed us to track and field, and everybody had to try all the events, and we'd practice for a day, and so we all got to see something in ourselves that maybe we hadn't seen before. And so high jump clicked for me. Maybe because it did come naturally to me, it was something that like it just felt good right off the bat, and so it made it easy to start working towards getting better.
Whoever wants to take this, even coach, if you want to jump in on this, how competitive does track and field get when you're trying to run down an opponent or you're neck and neck with an opponent, you're trying to out jump your opponents? Like, how competitive is track and field? Because I imagine it can get kind of, maybe chippy isn't the right word, but I imagine it can get kind of hot.
Yeah, it can get pretty intense at times. It's hard to say for races, at least, because you got a one-shot opportunity. So whatever needs to be said is either said before or after the race is done. But during jumping events and throwing events, there's room in between to be like, all right, I just did this. Come out and catch me, and let's see what you got. And it definitely can get heated at times, and I've seen it happen. But it only brings the best out of good athletes, and it's just a great environment to be around when you have those kind of athletes. And I'll probably have to say it for Miles because he won't say it himself, but Miles is probably one of the most humble athletes that I know. As Miles could have the weight of the world on his shoulders, but he'll just have a little grin on his face, and then he'll go out there and jump a personal best, and you wouldn't even know it because he keeps himself so calm and collected, and I applaud him for that.
I'm trying to get less humble, and I need to be aggressive like John, just get competitive with my competitors, and so it's a double-edged sword.
Well, you got the height, man. You got the
right.
You got
I got the intimidation factor.
I mean, they say that, and they both gave each other a shout out, but like that's what I mean by like the culture of it all. Of our team is such like a good team to pull things from each other, from competing or for competing, and just like John pulls things from Miles pulls things from John, the distance team pulls things from the throwers, and just different ways of looking at competition and different mindsets. It's such a good like program to sit there and like really learn track and field as a whole.
Amazing.
Well, Matt, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired by this group of athletes up here. Coach, I really impressed.
I'm still not running though. Like, I'm inspired from
Too
this
late.
spot.
Too late.
From this spot.
You got to get out there. Well, geez, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Once again, it's the Sac State Track and Field